insulin resistance. We know it's not because of your diet or how much exercise you do, nor your age, nor genetics. Your health has been deteriorating because of the invisible PM2.5, which has been seeping into your bloodstream for decades, causing havoc in every cell of your body. Simply put, your body is treating these dangerous particles as foreign and sends immune cells to the evading tissues, causing inflammation. Scientists now fully believe that this cell inflammation caused by PM2.5 is what leads to insulin resistance. Worse still, scientific studies have linked increases in daily PM2.5 exposure with increased heart attacks, as well as respiratory and cardiovascular disease. Remember this graph. We see diabetes started around the 1940s. Now look at this graph of PM2.5 levels over time. Look familiar? Notice the rapid incline at 1940 matches exactly when diabetes spiraled out of control. Yeah, it really was making sense now, and guess what? While the level of pollution in Greece was one of the highest in the world, far higher than the US, I found out that they actually had one of the lowest levels of diabetes. It must be because of these traditional dressings and the ingredients that make them up. It would explain why Alex and his guys, who even though they worked in Greece at power plants their whole lives, never got diabetes or exhibited any sign of it. As I finished reading, I felt like I wanted to cry. Not because I was sad, but because for the first time in years, I felt hope that I could actually help my wife and help us get our life and our relationship back on track. But don't go out and order an overseas delivery of kohlrabi just yet, because that's not even half the story, and not enough on its own to win the war against PM2.5 damage and unshackle you from diabetes. You see, second on Alex's list of type 2 diabetes reversers was marjoram, which the Greeks eat in abundance. That was just a simple spice used to flavor the dressing, but was actually packed full of a nutrient called beta-carotene. Again, I discovered this nutrient would fight the effects of airborne toxins on the lungs and body. It also improved digestive function and heart health. A study stated the next item, broccoli sprouts, caused rapid and sustainable detoxification of airborne pollutants. Plus, dietary supplementation with broccoli sprouts extract was highly effective in improving liver function through reduction of oxidative stress. And it didn't stop there. Alex's recipe included a range of Greek fruits, vegetables, herbs, berries, seeds, and other completely natural ingredients, including Grecian laurel leaves, jujubes, and bergamot oranges. Turned out, every single ingredient from the recipe were proven to repair rapidly the damage caused in our bodies by PM2.5 pollution and prevent any further damage, amongst other health benefits. After researching the entire list, I discovered that together the recipe contained 8 essential antioxidants, clinically proven to rapidly improve insulin resistance, in turn reversing type 2 diabetes, and protect against devastating conditions such as heart disease, stroke, nerve pain, and more. I call them the Diabetes Reversing 8. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Here were completely natural ingredients that had been scientifically proven to reverse the root cause of diabetes, yet not a single doctor had ever told my wife anything about them. All they wanted to do was keep selling her expensive medications. I was now more determined than ever to not only reverse Kathy's diabetes, but help millions of others too, so no one would ever need to pop a single dangerous medication again. But there was a problem. Although finding the broccoli sprouts wasn't difficult, locating high-quality kohlrabi jujubes, which are a type of date, and even bergamot oranges was almost impossible. Naturally, most of them could only be found on the Greek islands, and there was no way I could get these foods shipped over every week. The costs would be enormous. I needed a plan B. I reasoned that if I could take Alex's original recipe, break it down, and then uncover some local foods which contain the same antioxidants in the exact same amounts, while applying modern science and technology to the new formulation, I would be able to create a recipe even more powerful than Alex's and give Kathy a real shot at reversing her diabetes. But of course, without any medical training or experience, needed help. And I got it in the form of Amanda Fearson, a dedicated, independent medical researcher with over 29 years experience. As it turned out, Amanda had a personal interest in what I was doing. Her own mother had diabetes and could barely walk anymore, and she was passionate about finding a treatment that could save her life. Amanda was one of those rare people who exuded charisma, warmth, and intelligence. When we first met, she greeted me with a warm hug and a big smile. Your research is completely correct, she said. We are all affected by PM 2.5 at different rates based on our body types. That's why some people get diabetes faster than others, and why you, Eric, are only pre-diabetic, whereas your wife is type 2. However, the human body has not evolved to synthesize its own detoxifying nutrients to clear out this new threat, the PM 2.5. It's only been around for the past 70 years or so, so the only way to get the 8 essential nutrients you have discovered, Eric, is through food. I'd love to help, she said. So Amanda agreed to help research hundreds of different formulas which were tested ethically on mice and gauged what happened to their insulin resistance. It took 3 months, but eventually Amanda and I developed a series of all-American dressings that contain the exact same nutrients and vitamins found in Alex's recipe that if you consumed alone would have very little effect. But when combined together and eaten twice a day would produce remarkable results. In fact, thanks to Amanda's expertise, these recipes were 4.4 times more powerful than the original recipe consumed by Alex and his family and his friends. Amanda stated, "This new breakthrough addresses the one true cause of insulin resistance, PM 2.5. When you correct and flush out these toxins, you and your body can naturally restore itself, so you will effortlessly drop pounds of fat. Your arteries will clear and your blood sugar will stabilize and your insulin resistance reduces. Nothing like this has ever been attempted before in history of diabetes, and I literally couldn't wait to get started." And the best part was, because these unique recipes were completely natural, instead of a drug, we didn't have to submit our treatment to the FDA and potentially wait years for approval. Instead, we just needed one willing patient to put the protocol to the test. And of course, that patient was Kathy. The next morning, I visited our local grocery store to pick up all the ingredients we needed. I stocked up on test strips to help monitor her blood sugar along the way. Honestly, Kathy looked at me like I was crazy the first time I gave her the dressing to eat with her lunch and dinner. It took 60 seconds to create, but I still remember how she held her nose and steeled herself for the awful taste she expected, and the smile that spread across her face as she said it tasted great. Still, I had to beg her to keep eating them every day. She thought it was just another waste of time. After 7 days of following the recipes, there was little change. She'd lost a couple of pounds within the first few days, but we thought nothing of it. Until later that evening when something remarkable happened. We'd just finished dinner and I handed Kathy the bowl to grab a second portion of food, a habit we'd gotten used to since she gained the weight. "No, I'm fine, thanks. I'm full," she said. "What?" I hadn't heard that in 5 years. We both looked at each other in shock and burst out laughing, and each day following was like a dream. Her blood sugar readings continued to fall from 400 to 315, then to 251, then to 197, and then to 143. But the best was yet to come. Day 21 was a sunny Sunday morning, and I'll remember it forever. I woke to the loudest scream I've ever heard. Terrified, I instinctively reached for my handgun in the nightstand, until the screams turned to laughter. I ran down the stairs where I saw Kathy standing in the kitchen staring at her glucose reading, tears rolling down her face. But this time they weren't tears of panic or fear. They were tears of happiness, of joy. In just 3 weeks, she was at a healthy reading of 120. And that's not even the best part. Remember that weight gain and hunger is a symptom of insulin resistance. Well, since she had reversed her insulin resistance, her hunger vanished, and the weight dropped off her like butter in a microwave. Every day she was safely shedding pure belly fat, arm fat, chin fat. Her love handles disappeared. She had lost 56 pounds of weight, going from this to this slim and sexy lady today. She was so excited to show me her jeans falling off her hips in a way they hadn't in 25 years. Plus, she had so much more energy. She was sleeping better, and the aches and pains in her legs and feet were gradually disappearing with every day that passed. Even her hair seemed thicker, fuller, and shinier than it had. Her fears about falling into another coma, needing an amputation, or having a heart attack vanished. When we saw Dr. Grayson, he couldn't believe his eyes. He was speechless that she had achieved it all by herself, naturally and safely. And when he saw her glucose readings, he said she could finally come off her medications. That evening, we threw all of them in the trash. What a great feeling. It was like a time machine taking us back 5 years before this nightmare began. But the most amazing thing was watching Kathy's stomach, watching the belly fat she'd been fighting for years and years shrink away to nothing, until one day I came home and saw her walking around the house in a sports bra and shorts, her beautiful flat belly on display. I was a little afraid to touch her at first, afraid she'd tell me not to, but when I wrapped my arms around her, she melted, tilting her head so I could kiss her neck, and smiled at me and told me to meet her in the bedroom. It was the most amazing, passionate night of my life. As we lay there naked, cuddling and laughing, in love again, in a way we hadn't been in a long time. I had a huge smile across my face. I'd done it. I'd saved my wife. Kathy had broken free from the cycle of insulin resistance. She was back in control of her own blood sugar. Neither of us could believe it. After being told to prepare ourselves for Kathy to fall into a coma, or for her to even die, Kathy had reversed her diabetes, and it had taken just over 3 weeks. I was desperate to get the recipes out to as many people as possible, but Amanda warned me that one person wasn't proof that the formula worked. And she was right. It may have worked for Kathy, but would it work for everyone? I wanted to see if these recipes would work on people who were suffering the most, who had the most severe cases of type 2 diabetes. I had to know for sure. So, I came up with a plan. I decided to post adverts online and in local newspapers, asking for volunteers who might be willing to put our diabetes reversing recipes to the test. They had to be type 2 diabetic, overweight, and unable to lose weight no matter their diet or how much they exercised, tired, hungry, and experiencing many of the typical diabetic symptoms. After just 6 days, we had 96 people suffering from varying degrees of type 2 diabetes who would test the protocols. The results were way more incredible than any of us could have imagined. Without exception, and within a maximum of 32 days, all 96 volunteers reported dramatic improvements in their blood sugar. Better still, the average weight loss was about 26 pounds. Energy levels soared. Any risks of heart attacks, amputations, or strokes were completely eliminated. Blood pressure normalized. Brain fog was lifted. Aches and pains subsided. A total of 97% of participants went on to reverse their diabetes. The other 3% fell just short, but were no less overjoyed at the weight loss and health benefits they'd achieved. I received emails, phone calls, and text messages from people overwhelmed by the changes and desperate to thank me. Nicholas Green, one of our test subjects, a 46-year-old butcher from Grenada, Missouri, lost 1 pound of fat overnight after starting the program, and another 32 pounds within the following weeks. He went from this to this. It was clear my medications weren't working. After 7 years on them, I had gained over 40 pounds. And when I saw your message, I knew that this was my ticket out of this death trap. My leg swelling has now disappeared. I feel more energetic, mobile, and my joint pain has gone. I'm still dropping weight to this day because of these dressings. Thank you, Eric and Amanda. Ray C. Varela, a 44-year-old notary from Tacoma, Washington, lost 18 pounds going from this to this. I felt so guilty when I heard I had diabetes 10 years ago, she said. I was afraid I'd never have kids or I'd give it to them. I felt guilty that it was my fault somehow. So I'm glad to hear it's not my fault. Ray has since reversed her type 2 diabetes, boosted her energy, and rekindled the romance in her marriage. That was it. We developed a natural, clinically proven treatment for reversing even the worst cases of type 2 diabetes. After seeing the effect that diabetes had on my own wife, I made it my mission to ensure that no one else ever has to suffer like she did. This protocol works, and I'm excited to say that the obscene statistics about diabetes are about to change forever. Remember, due to the toxic environment we now live in, our cells are being relentlessly attacked by damaging and poisonous airborne toxins on a daily basis. This happens no matter where you live on Earth. It is unavoidable. As a result, they predict that nearly 1/3 of all American adults will be diabetic by 2050. Today, things are finally about to change. With Amanda Fearson's help, I've created a clinically proven and all-natural protocol that will allow you to finally reverse your diabetes and take back control, with no medications, exercises, or dieting, and do it within the next few weeks. And I've called it the Halki Diabetes Remedy. This program is designed for any type 2 diabetic, pre-diabetic, or anyone who struggles with weight loss, especially those over 35. It's so easy to follow, a child could. Yet, it's more powerful than any medication on this planet. Here we are, ready for you to finally get the flat belly and slim body you've been dreaming of and which you deserve, to free yourself from the clutches of diabetes. So what exactly are you going to get at the Halki Diabetes Remedy? You'll get your hands on the Halki Diabetes Remedy Fast Start Guide. where you will find everything you need to know to reverse diabetes. The truth about PM 2.5 pollution, the real cause of diabetes, the ancient Halki island foods that inspired my research, and the secret behind their extraordinary detoxifying powers. Why diabetes medications are nothing but a band-aid for diabetes and will not do anything to reverse it, and actually just make it worse. The identity of the diabetes reversing aid, the 8 powerful antioxidants and vitamins proven in clinical studies to reverse PM 2.5 damage, plus all the inexpensive, simple, and natural foods that contain these 8 powerful nutrients. I'll even reveal the identity of my #1 detox tea, which boosts the power of the foods. But that's not even the best part. I'm also going to give you the 21-day protocol. Inside, you'll find 42 dressing recipes formulated by Amanda Fearson that contain these 8 nutrients, along with instructions and nutritional information. You'll also learn the exact ratio of ingredients and the specific amounts required to make up these recipes, to turn your body into a detoxifying, fat-burning machine. But we didn't stop there. To make things as easy as possible for you, you'll also get a 3-week protocol to follow, telling you exactly what dressings to eat each day and when for maximum results. The exact same protocol that had huge success in our patient trials. And the delicious twist is that these ingredients are not only incredible for your diabetes, but beneficial for your brain, heart, waistline, energy levels, and much more, though also be improving your overall health at the same time. All you need to do is to follow the protocol and eat the dressings twice a day as instructed to achieve the same dramatic improvements in your diabetes that Kathy and thousands of others have achieved. And the best part is, there's no need to completely change your diet and starve yourself to death. All you need to do is simply add these dressings to your existing lunch and dinner, and each and every ingredient can be picked up for almost just a few pennies from your local grocery store. They take only 60 seconds to make. It really is that simple.